There's never been a better time to be in the market for a new light. There are so many great, high-quality, low-cost options out right now, and today I have a contender from GVM, the SD80D. Before we get started, I do want to say that GVM sent me this light kit to try for free, but no money has changed hands and I'm in no way obligated to give them a positive review. The GVM SD80D is an 80-watt bicolor LED light with a CRI rating of 97+. It's a pretty small and lightweight product considering that it has a full-size Bones mount, an LCD screen and various buttons and knobs. It has a fan, and it has two L-type battery mounts. I do wish that the light stand mount could be removed so that way the light could pack down even smaller. The SD80D is mostly constructed out of plastic, which is not my favorite thing, but it does cut down on the weight. This light comes in at 2.6 pounds or 1.2 kilograms. The kit that I was sent comes with the light unit itself, a Bowens reflector, two L-mount batteries, two L-mount chargers, a DC power supply, a light stand, and a Bowens softbox. The softbox comes with two diffusion layers, and it also comes with a grid. The kit, unfortunately, does not come with a carrying case or bag, and it also does not come with a protective cover for the LED element. That's a little unfortunate that it doesn't come with those things, but when you hear the price point, it's a little understandable. So at the time of making this video, this entire kit is selling on Amazon for $139 US, which is a little mind-blowing to me that they can offer all of this stuff for $139. The SD80D is advertised as being able to output 7,390 lux at 1 meter. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to verify those numbers, but in my testing, the light has been super bright. It'd be totally fine for things like a key light, a rim light or hair light, if you wanted to light up your background or use it for some product photography or videography. Those kinds of things, it'll be totally fine. If you're trying to light like a big outdoor scene or indoor scene, it's probably not going to do too well there, but that's not really what it was intended for. The LCD screen is really nice and bright and easy to read. The adjustment knob feels really good, but it is a little finicky. I find that I have to turn the knob 2 or 3 clicks sometimes for the unit to register any kind of change. It's not too big of a problem because you have, all sorts of feedback here with the light and the LCD readout. But it can be annoying when you're trying to make big changes from like 10% brightness to 100% brightness. You end up sitting here spinning this knob forever. The adjustment knob defaults to adjusting brightness, but you can press and hold the knob in to get to the color temperature mode, which you can adjust from 2700K all the way up to 7500K. I'll be honest, this is my first high-ish powered light that's bicolor. I typically only buy daylight balanced lights like this key light, but after playing around with this for a few weeks, I think it's going to be really useful for things like lighting up backgrounds or for hair light or rim light, things like that. So I really like that feature, so I'm glad that they did send me the bicolor one. The SD80D also has 8 lighting effects built in, and you can access those by pressing this button. It's the typical things like lightning, candlelight, paparazzi, things like that. The brightness, color temperature, and lighting effects can also be controlled from the GVM mobile app. The app is not the prettiest app I've ever seen, but it has been working well in my testing so far. Having a mobile app is super convenient because sometimes we have our lights mounted way up, out of reach, and so being able to control it from your app is really convenient. The SD80D can be powered by an external DC power supply, which plugs in right here, or by the included L-mount batteries, which install right here, which I really, really like because I've used other lights where you need a separate plate or control box to mount the batteries to, but not having to set all that extra stuff up really saves time. So I really like that they put the battery mounts on the lighting unit itself. So far so good, right? Well, things are gonna start to go downhill a little bit from here. Now, my biggest complaint, and probably the one thing that's going to be the deal breaker for some of you out there, is the fan noise. Now, the second you turn this light on, the fan kicks in. It's on 100% of the time. Now, that wouldn't be too much of an issue, but the fan is also louder than any of my other lights that I own. So I downloaded an iPhone app called dB Meter, and I measured this fan noise at 62 dBA. Now, in comparison, I measured my Godox ML60, which I think is a pretty comparable light. It's actually lower power at 60 watts, but I think it's pretty much as bright as the GVM. Now, this light, the ML60, came in at 37 dBA, which is a night and day difference when you're listening to them side by side. If you're planning to use the SD80D as a key light in a nice, quiet, acoustically treated studio, then there's a really good chance that your microphone is going to pick up the noise from this fan. The good news is that the fan is on 100% of the time, which means that it's pretty easy to remove that noise in post if you know how to do that. If you're planning to use the light as a background light or as a rim light or hair light or even as a key light in a noisy environment, I think you'll be just fine. I don't think the fan noise is loud enough that your microphone will pick it up from across the room, or if you're shooting in an environment that has a high noise floor. And of course, if you're using the light for photography, then you don't care about the fan noise. My next issue is not with the light itself, but it's with this horrible softbox that they included in the kit. Now, when it's all constructed, it doesn't look too bad, right? It looks like a typical softbox. But you have no idea what I had to go through to assemble this thing. I don't think I'm ever gonna tear this thing down because it is such a pain in the butt to assemble. So when you get this, you just get all of these little sticks, all the little sticks that create tension for the dome. They just come as loose sticks. And you have to come in here and you have to put each stick in and tension the whole umbrella up. It is not fun. I mean, this is like what we had to do like 20 years ago. So I really dislike that softbox. You know, in comparison, the softbox that you can get from Godox for the ML60, look at this. I just push it in and it's done. That is what I want. Something easy, fast. I don't know about you guys, but I am constantly on the go with my lights, and I'm tearing down my softboxes all of the time. And so if I had to build that thing and take it down every single day or even multiple times a day, I would just go completely crazy. So I am not a fan of that softbox at all. It works fine once you have it assembled. So I guess if you're planning to get that softbox and never go anywhere with it, it's just gonna sit in your studio, I think you'll be fine. But if you're ever gonna travel with it, I do not recommend that softbox. The last issue I have with the GVM SD80D is that it does not come with a bag or case. Now, I know that it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but when you travel around with your lights a lot, it's a really big deal. For instance, the ML60 that I showed you earlier, I have several of them, and they're always packed in this bag and ready to go at a moment's notice. They're just packed in the corner. I just grab them, get the batteries, and I go. So not having a bag that comes with the GVM light is a huge downside for me. I'll probably have to either repurpose a bag or go buy another bag, which adds to the cost of the light. And not to mention that any bag that I repurpose or go buy is not going to be as good as something that was purposely built to fit the light and its accessories. Like this. This fits like a glove. Actually, let me see if I can open this up and show you what's in here. So check it out. Everything I need for the light is in here. Of course, not a light stand, but you wouldn't want to carry around a case that can fit a light stand because it'll be huge. Even that softbox that I showed you earlier, they even thought about putting straps on top of the bag so I can attach it and go. So the GVM does not come with a bag or a case, which is really disappointing because when you look at the light, I think that a lot of thought went into actually making this portable. I mean, why else would there be battery mounts on the light body itself? You know, if this was meant to be mounted in a studio and never moved, there'd be no need for batteries. You could just use the DC power supply at all times. But since there are actually battery mounts here, it makes me think that they did want this light to be somewhat portable. Too bad they didn't give us a bag or a case. Maybe it's the price point that did it. $139 is a really good price. I don't know. So overall, I think that the SD80D is a step in the right direction for GVM. I really do appreciate them sending me this kit to try. However, I don't think that I can recommend this light to most video shooters out there, mainly due to the fan noise. If you're a video shooter who doesn't really care about the fan noise, or if you're confident that you can remove it in post, or if you're a photographer, then you really can't beat the price point of this light, especially if you're on a tight budget. The softbox, on the other hand, is a definite no-go for me, just because I travel around with my lights so much. The good news is that they do sell the light by itself, and I'll be sure to put that price up here, and I'll make sure to leave links to the light by itself and the entire kit down in the description. And before I go, I do want to say a little bit about GVM as a company. Now, before I recorded this video, I reached out to GVM so I could voice some of my concerns about the light and some of the accessories. I wanted to know if they still wanted me to publish the video, knowing that it wasn't going to be necessarily positive. And they got back to me and they said, yes, we would still like you to publish the video. And they took the criticism really well. And I think that this is the mark of a really good company. If they're able to take in constructive criticism in hopes that they're going to improve their products in the future. So I think that's totally awesome of GVM. They're great. They're a great company to work with, and I am really excited for what they're going to do in the future because I think that they're on the right track for sure. I think if it wasn't for the fan noise, this light would definitely be a recommendation for me. That's it. Good job, GVM. I think it's great that you take the constructive criticism and you're going to roll with it and make your products even better in the future. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said earlier in the video, if you don't care too much about the fan noise and you're still interested in buying this light, then I'll leave links to the light and the kit down below in the description. My name is Matt. If you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.